Hello, beautiful people. Today we are going to be talking about plants I grew for the first time and my verdict if I'm going to grow them again, what I should do better, and what I will do next year. First up is this beautiful pumpkin. It came out beautiful. I'm going to save lots of seeds from it. I'm going to grow it again next year. It came out brilliant. Next up are these flax seeds. They really did good, but I didn't harvest any of it because they kept falling because I was always away and I didn't have time. But next year I'm gonna grow more of it and get lots of flax seeds. Same with these chamomile. I've gotten a ton of chamomile from these. I have so many that will serve me all through the winter months. I'm definitely gonna grow this again. Dahlias. This year I grew so many different types of dahlias, all shapes, sizes, and colors. Yeah, one of my favorite flowers now, and I'm always going to grow them. They look stunning. Next up is these beans, the Greek gigantes beans. I've tried some of them. I'm letting these go to seed so I can use them again next year. There's always going to be these beans in my garden, always. Same with these ballotti beans. I've had a lot of them and letting the rest of them dry. I'm always going to grow these. They are amazing beans, especially the Greek gigantes. If you haven't tried it, you should. They're really good. Next up is the quinoa. I love this plant. They did brilliant. They did way more than I thought they would, because when I initially planted them, they had lots of frost damage, but they bounced back and I have lots of quinoa heads everywhere. We are going to get loads of quinoa and we're always going to grow it. And I know how to grow it now. It doesn't take a lot of space. So next year, I'm going to grow a lot more. And this pumpkin, I don't know the variety, but I would find out. But just from one plant, I got 3 good-sized pumpkins. I'm going to save lots of seed from them and grow them again next year, and I'll always have them. Same goes with the Harlequin squash. Very productive. 2 squashes from that plant. I'm letting the plant die back before I harvest them, but I'm always going to grow them. They are a brilliant plant. Next up is a cocoyam. It's a brilliant plant. It's grown beautifully. It's exceeded my expectations. Next year I'm going to grow them in the ground, and I can't wait to see how many we get from these plants. But these plants is always going to be in my allotment every year. More dahlias, what can I say? They're one of the most beautiful flowers. I'm always going to grow them. This is another plant, but this one didn't do so well, but that's my fault. This is a parsley, but it's just not any parsley. The leaves, you can use them like normal parsley, but it has a root on the ground. But they didn't grow very well because they were shaded up by the beans I planted, but I know better. So I'll plant them again next year. And I really like this plant. They're coming back next year. Next to them is the salsify. I haven't eaten any of them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. They just look like grass, but there's a long skinny tuber in there. And some people call it the oyster plant because they say it tastes like oysters. I will let you know when I taste it, but I'm always going to grow it. It's a brilliant plant. The Australian tree cabbage is one of my favorite plants. It is brilliant. As a cabbage that you just harvest the leaves, it doesn't form a cabbage head like normal cabbages, but I'm always going to grow this in my allotment. It is a brilliant plant. Next up to it is the tree spinach. It has outgrown this structure. It's a brilliant plant. I'm going to grow lots more of it next year. I think I have like 4 plants this year, but I'm going to have more than 20 next year. I'm going to grow it out in the open because it doesn't really need this structure. And I'll just let it grow up so we can get as much as possible leaves. They are going to seed now, which is good because we can harvest some of the seed and plant again next year. This is our winter lettuce. Some people also call it Celtis or sativa lettuce. It is brilliant. This is not the first time we're growing it, but this is the first time we're growing it from seed. And look at them. They are gorgeous. And we are going to harvest these all through the winter till next spring when they go to seed. These are the ones from last year. They've gone to seed. Unfortunately, I didn't save any of the seed, so I think we're going to have lots of volunteer lettuce next year. I really don't mind. It's my favorite lettuce, so the more the better. This is also the first year we've grown foxglove, but how they got here I couldn't tell you, but I love the flowers, so I'll leave them here so that we can enjoy the beautiful blooms next year. Speaking of heliquem squash, these one, the plant is completely died back, so we're gonna invest this one. Oh, that's beautiful. We're going to enjoy this. Next up is the butterbush. It's a butternut squash that takes very little space. It's ideal to grow in containers. So I grew it here. I only got one squash, but it did all right. I'm gonna plant lots of it all over the place next year. The Mustachium. I've done a couple of videos on Mustachium. It's one of my favorite flowers because it's edible. The leaves are edible, the flower edible, and the seed pods are edible. This is the first year we're growing it, but we're always going to grow it now because we love it. Next up is these sunflowers. They look amazing. My daughter loves them. The seeds are edible. The bees love them. Look at the bee over there. This late in the year in October, there's not a lot of flowers, so any flower is important. Look at that bee munching away. So we're gonna be growing lots more of sunflowers. This one got hit by a storm or something. I don't know what we weren't around, but it's okay. I think one of the seed head fell down, but there's nowhere to be found because the rabbits and the rats must have gotten to it. So the wildlife have been fed. So there's a lot of benefits growing sunflower. We're always going to grow them. The golden beetroot. Lots of people I find that don't know anything as golden beetroot because people are used to the red variety, but the golden one tastes like a cross between a carrot and mango to me. It's a brilliant plant. This is the first year we're growing it, but we're always going to grow it because we love it. It's a brilliant plant. That's all for today. And as always, whatever you have planned today, I hope it goes well. Have a brilliant day, people. God bless.